Your motorcycle is more than just a machine. It's your freedom, your passion, your escape from the ordinary world. But right now, as you're watching this video, you might be unknowingly destroying that very machine you love so much. Before you click away, let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked your chain tension? When did you last change your brake fluid? If you can't remember, you're already making mistakes that could cost you thousands of dollars, or worse, your safety. Hit that subscribe button right now, because today we're diving deep into the most common yet devastating motorcycle maintenance mistakes that even experienced riders make. These aren't the obvious ones, like forgetting oil changes. These are the subtle killers, the silent destroyers that turn your beloved bike into an expensive paperweight. And if you stick around until the end, I'll reveal the one mistake that 90% of riders make that can literally leave you stranded on the highway. Let's start with mistake number 1, and this one's going to shock you. Running your fuel tank too low isn't just about range anxiety. Every time you ride with that fuel light glowing, you're slowly killing your fuel pump. Here's why most people don't know this. Your fuel pump doesn't just move gas, it's actually cooled and lubricated by the fuel itself. When you consistently run low, that pump overheats, works harder, and fails faster. Modern fuel pumps can cost upwards of $500 to replace, and that's just the part. But there's something even worse happening down there. The bottom of your tank is where all the nasty stuff settles. Rust particles, water, sediment, microscopic debris that's been building up for years. When your fuel level drops, your pump starts sucking up this toxic cocktail and feeding it directly to your engine. This gunk clogs injectors, fouls carburetors, and creates performance issues that mechanics love to charge you hundreds to diagnose. Modern gasoline with ethanol makes this problem 10 times worse. Ethanol attracts moisture like a magnet, and that water settles at the bottom of your tank. So when you finally take that weekend ride on low fuel, you're essentially forcing your engine to drink a mixture of gas, water, and rust. The solution is simple, but most riders ignore it. Never let your tank drop below a quarter full. Treat that last bit as emergency reserve only. Mistake number 2 will make you rethink how you clean your bike. Power washing seems like the perfect solution for a dirty motorcycle, but that high-pressure spray is a precision destroyer of everything that makes your bike work. Those seals, bearings, electrical connections, and delicate components weren't designed to handle 2,000 psi of water. Pressure, that jet of water forces its way into places it should never reach, washing out protective grease, corroding metal surfaces, and shorting out expensive electronics. I've personally seen riders destroy perfectly functioning motorcycles in a single afternoon with nothing but a pressure washer and good intentions. Afterwards, they're confused why their speedometer flickers randomly, why the engine won't idle properly, or why their headlight only works when it feels like it. The culprit is always the same: water damage from aggressive cleaning. Even if the damage isn't immediately obvious, water that penetrates wheel bearings or pivot points displaces crucial lubrication. Add some heat cycles and normal wear, and those perfectly clean components become perfectly seized. The right way to clean your motorcycle is with patience and the right tools. Use a regular hose with gentle pressure. Degrease carefully with appropriate solvents, and avoid spraying directly into electrical components, chain links, or anywhere you wouldn't pour a glass of water. Here's mistake number 3, and this one destroys more motorcycles than crashes do. Over-tightening bolts. If you've ever snapped a bolt in your frame or crushed a washer flat, you've learned this lesson the expensive way. Most riders think that tighter is always better, that extra torque equals extra security. This couldn't be more wrong. Every fastener, on your motorcycle has a specific torque specification for a reason. Engineers spent countless hours determining the exact amount of force needed to secure that component safely without damaging the threads or the part itself. When you over-tighten, you're not being thorough, you're being destructive. Axle bolts, triple clamp fasteners, drain plugs, brake calipers, they all have limits. The real problem is that over-tightening damage doesn't always show up immediately. Sometimes it builds up over months. You'll go to do routine maintenance and discover that your drain plug threads are stripped, requiring expensive repairs like helicoils or even complete engine case replacement. On critical components like front axles or brake mounts, over-tightening can create stress fractures that lead to catastrophic failures at the worst possible moment. The solution is investing in a quality torque wrench and actually using it. Learn the specifications for common bolts on your bike and respect them. Remember, a fastener isn't a test of your strength. It's precision hardware designed to do a specific job within specific parameters. Mistake number 4 is killing your drivetrain, and you probably don't even know it's happening. Chain alignment. Most riders think adjusting a chain is just about getting the slack right. They'll eyeball the adjustment, maybe bounce the suspension a few times, and consider the job done. But if your rear wheel isn't perfectly aligned with your front wheel, you're slowly destroying your chain and sprockets with every mile you ride. Misalignment creates uneven wear patterns that destroy components prematurely. One side of your sprocket teeth starts grinding harder than the other. Your chain rollers don't seat properly in the sprocket valleys. Over time, this creates premature chain stretch, loud operation, and uneven tooth wear that will destroy an expensive chain and sprocket set thousands of miles before it should need replacement. Poor alignment also affects handling in ways you might not connect to the drivetrain. It introduces unwanted tension across the swing arm and rear axle assembly, which can make the bike feel unstable or cause it to pull to one side under acceleration. Those little alignment marks stamped on your swing arm are barely adequate for rough adjustment. For proper alignment, you need specialized tools like a chain alignment gauge or laser system. Let's talk about mistake number 5, and this one can literally kill you. Old brake fluid. Unlike fine wine, brake fluid doesn't improve with age. In fact, it gets progressively worse every month it sits in your system. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture from the atmosphere even through your supposedly sealed brake system. This absorbed water lowers the fluid's boiling point dramatically. During normal street riding, you might never notice this degradation. But when you need maximum braking performance, coming down a mountain pass, making emergency stops, or riding aggressively on hot days, that contaminated fluid reaches its boiling point and turns to steam. Steam is compressible. Brake fluid is not. When your brake lever suddenly goes soft and your stopping power disappears, you're experiencing brake fade caused by old fluid. Old brake fluid also corrodes internal brake components. Master cylinder seals, caliper pistons, ABS pump internals, all of these expensive parts start deteriorating once moisture gets into the system. Unlike brake pads or rotors, you can't visually inspect these components until they fail catastrophically. The fix is simple and cheap. Brake fluid should be replaced every 18 to 24 months, regardless of mileage. It takes about 20 minutes and costs less than $20 in fluid. Compare that to the cost of rebuilding brake calipers or replacing an ABS pump, not to mention the safety implications of brake failure. Mistake number 6 might seem minor, but it's destroying your engine from the inside. Using the wrong coolant. Many riders assume that coolant is coolant, that any green or blue liquid will keep their engine cool. This assumption costs thousands in engine damage every year. Different coolants have different chemical compositions designed for different engine materials and operating conditions. Motorcycle engines aren't car engines. They operate at higher temperatures, have different metallurgy, and much tighter tolerances. Some automotive coolants are too aggressive for motorcycle aluminum components. Others don't provide adequate protection for magnesium engine cases. Mixing incompatible coolant types creates chemical reactions that can clog passages and accelerate corrosion. The consequences aren't immediately obvious. Internal corrosion happens slowly, building up scale and blockages over months or years. By the time you notice overheating issues or coolant loss, significant damage has already occurred. Radiator repairs, water pump replacements, or even complete engine rebuilds can result from using incorrect coolant. Always use motorcycle-specific coolant, or exactly what your manufacturer specifies. When diluting concentrate, use only distilled water. Never tap water. The minerals in regular water create scale buildup that reduces cooling efficiency and clogs narrow passages. Flush your cooling system every 2 to 3 years with the proper fluid, not when it's convenient. Here's mistake number 7, and this one's going to surprise you. Storing your motorcycle with the clutch lever pulled in. Some riders think this prevents clutch plates from sticking together during storage, or relieves pressure on the system. In reality, you're creating problems that didn't exist before. When you store a bike with the clutch engaged for months, you're keeping the entire clutch actuation system under constant tension. Hydraulic seals, slave cylinders, and master cylinder internals weren't designed for this kind of prolonged stress. Cable clutches suffer from stretched cables and compressed springs that may not return to their original tension. If you're worried about clutch plates sticking during storage, simply start the bike and rock it gently before your first spring ride. The plates will separate naturally without any drama, but storing with that lever pulled creates genuine problems. Fluid leaks, sticky operation, or complete hydraulic failure that requires expensive repairs. Clutch systems are designed to rest in the disengaged position. Let them do what they were designed to do. Your future self will thank you when the clutch works perfectly after storage, instead of requiring bleeding or component replacement. Mistake number 8 destroys braking performance, and most riders never realize they're doing it. Mixing old and new brake pads. Whether it's trying to save money or just being lazy during maintenance, some riders replace only the most worn pad or mix new pads with partially used ones. This creates uneven braking that's dangerous and destructive. Brake pads wear as a matched set for critical reasons. They bed into the rotor surface together, developing complementary wear patterns and transferring friction material evenly across the rotor surface. When you introduce a new pad alongside a worn one, you guarantee uneven pressure distribution, inconsistent bite characteristics, and uneven heat generation. This mismatch causes rotors to wear irregularly, creates pulsing or grabbing sensations, and can lead to glazing or hot spots that permanently damage the rotor surface. Even mixing new pads from different manufacturers or with different compounds can cause problems due to varying friction characteristics and material transfer rates. Brakes are your motorcycle's most critical safety system. Replace pads as complete sets, clean the rotors thoroughly, and bed them in properly according to manufacturer specifications. The small cost savings from mixing pads isn't worth the safety risks or potential rotor damage. Mistake number 9 affects anyone with spoked wheels, and ignoring it can literally collapse your wheel while riding. Spoke tension maintenance. Most riders treat spokes like permanent fixtures, but they're actually dynamic components that require regular attention. Over time, spokes naturally lose tension due to thermal cycling, road vibration, and normal stress. When spokes become loose, several dangerous things happen. The wheel loses its structural integrity and goes out of true. Tire wear becomes uneven and unpredictable. Worst-case scenario, individual spokes can snap under load, potentially causing wheel collapse during riding. This isn't theoretical. It happens to riders who ignore spoke maintenance. The solution is surprisingly simple, but requires consistency. Check spoke tension regularly, especially on bikes that see rough roads or carry cargo. A basic spoke wrench costs less than $20 and can prevent wheel repairs that cost hundreds. Even without tools, you can check tension by plucking spokes like guitar strings. Tight spokes produce a clear ping. Loose ones sound dull or dead. If you discover loose spokes, don't ignore them, hoping they'll stay put. Loose spokes create additional stress on adjacent spokes, leading to progressive failure that can happen suddenly and catastrophically. Address spoke issues immediately, or have a professional wheel builder check your wheels. Here's mistake number 10, and most riders get this completely backwards. When to lubricate your chain. The majority of riders come back from a ride, park their bike, and immediately spray chain lube thinking they're being proactive about maintenance. This timing is actually counterproductive and wasteful. Chain lubrication works best when applied to a cool chain that has time to penetrate into the roller bearings and pin bushings. When you lube a hot chain immediately after riding, the heat causes solvents to evaporate before they can carry lubricants into critical areas. Instead of penetrating where it's needed, the lube just sits on the surface and attracts dirt. Hot chain lubrication also means that excess lube gets flung off during your next ride, creating a mess on your rear wheel and potentially affecting tire traction. You're wasting product and not actually protecting the components that need lubrication most. The correct approach is lubricating your chain before riding, preferably on a cool chain that's been sitting overnight. This gives the lubricant time to penetrate into the rollers and pins where it's actually needed. During your ride, the chain motion distributes the lube evenly, while excess material is naturally shed. As an added benefit, if your chain is squeaking when you're putting on your helmet, that's a perfect reminder that maintenance is overdue. Timing matters as much as technique when it comes to chain care. Mistake number 11 seems logical but creates expensive transmission problems. Storing your motorcycle in gear during long-term storage. Many riders park their bike for winter and leave it in first gear, thinking this prevents it from rolling and provides additional security. While this seems reasonable, it's actually creating unnecessary stress on transmission components. When a motorcycle sits for months with the transmission engaged, constant pressure is applied to shift dogs, gear teeth, and detent mechanisms. This static loading, combined with temperature fluctuations and potential moisture buildup, can cause pitting on gear surfaces and binding in shift forks. These problems don't appear immediately, but develop over time, leading to transmission issues that are expensive to repair. Storing in gear also creates clutch drag problems when you try to start the bike after extended storage. A sticky clutch combined with engaged transmission can cause the bike to lurch unexpectedly during startup, potentially causing accidents or damage in confined spaces like garages. If your motorcycle is properly stored on a stand or with wheels chocked, it won't move regardless of transmission position. For bikes stored on slopes or in unsecured areas, use wheel chocks or a rear stand rather than relying on transmission engagement. Let your gearbox rest in neutral during storage to avoid unnecessary stress on internal components. Our final mistake kills more batteries than age or cold weather combined. Improper use of battery tenders and trickle chargers. While connecting a charger during storage seems like good practice, many riders use basic trickle chargers that don't actually shut off when the battery reaches full charge. These simple chargers continue feeding low voltage constantly, which slowly boils electrolyte and damages cell structure. The result is a battery that appears fine but won't hold a charge when you need it. You'll discover this problem at the worst possible time, usually when you're eager to ride after months of storage. Basic trickle chargers can actually shorten battery life rather than extend it. Smart battery maintainers solve this problem by monitoring voltage and only providing current when needed. They cycle on and off automatically, maintaining proper charge levels without overcharging. This is especially critical for lithium batteries, which can be damaged or even become fire hazards if overcharged with improper equipment. Invest in a quality smart charger designed for your battery type. Your battery will last longer, perform better, and be ready when you need it most. The small additional cost of proper charging equipment pays for itself through extended battery life and reliable operation. These 12 mistakes destroy more motorcycles than accidents, theft, and natural disasters combined. The frustrating part is that they're all completely preventable with proper knowledge and consistent maintenance habits. Your motorcycle doesn't ask for much, just respect for its engineering and attention to its needs. If you've learned something valuable today, hit that like button and subscribe for more motorcycle content that can save you money and keep you safe. Share your own maintenance horror stories in the comments, because sometimes the best learning comes from other people's expensive mistakes. Remember, every mile you ride is a privilege that your motorcycle makes possible. Take care of it, and it will take care of you for thousands of miles to come. Until next time, ride smart and wrench smarter.